So if we start to relate to the ideology of you are what you eat, a lot of people actually don't understand what does that mean. And also we've often heard that the kind of foods that we consume does not only impact our body but also impact our mind. But what does that actually mean? I'll just try explaining logically how it goes, what you consume, how it becomes you, and ultimately what becomes you also becomes your mind. So let's try understanding our foods like this. Like the foods that we consume become our blood. Whatever you consume is digested by your digestive system. And the digestive system extracts all those nutrients and mixes all those nutrients in the blood, which is the carrier of all those nutrients to be passed on to the body. So precisely based on the quality of what you consume is mixed into your blood, and that blood carries all those nutrients to your cells, which also means the quality of nutrients which are traveling in your blood will also decide what happens inside the cell. And so we know cluster of cells is tissues, and cluster of tissues ultimately becomes an organ. So if the quality of nutrition is really good at the consumption level, the blood quality, the cellular quality, and the tissue quality is going to be of really high and good quality. Now when these tissues, specific tissues, come together to become an organ system, and if we look at the ancient traditional systems of Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine, there's a strong understanding how each organ system has a specific connection with specific emotions. Now, if you look at the emotion of anger, it is very much in sync with how your liver functions. And in traditional Chinese medicine, there's a specific understanding how anger can impact your liver and how liver health can ultimately impact the specific emotion at the mind level, which is anger. And similarly, the emotion of fear, which is the connective emotion of the kidneys, also may work, two-way. If the kidneys are not functioning fine, ultimately it may have some impact at the mind level, making you more fearful. And by nature, if you are already a fearful person, then it might gradually have an impact on the kidneys, shrinking them and impacting its physiological function. Now let's just try changing this scenario a little bit. When we were talking about foods, let's just assume that your diet is all full of poor kinds of foods, like poor quality nutrition. It's all refined and junk and all kind of processed foods coming into your diet. The quality of your blood is going to be really acidic. It's not going to be good. The same quality of blood is circulating and passing on all that nutrition to your cells, which means the quality of cells is not going to be really great. And now we know that cluster of cells become tissue and cluster of tissues become an organ. So the entire chain, right from the point where you decided to consume something and till the point it converted into blood and then cell and then tissues and ultimately organ, the quality, the strength of that organ will not be as high because it is all full of all those unwanted stuff which our body is not meant to process. And so now again, if we look into the traditional understanding, traditional Chinese medicine understanding of how organs and emotions are directly correlated. If the quality of your organs is weak, it is going to impact you. I mean, it emotionally it is going to have a hard impact on you. You will not emerge out as a very strong kind of a person. Which also means whichever organ inside your body is weak, the specific emotion associated with that specific organ system will rule your personality. So with that poor nutrition, if your digestion is not good, worry and anxiety is something that will keep haunting you. Or with that same diet, if it is impacting your liver, anger is the emotion that will be really high in your personality. If it's impacting your kidneys, fear would be really high in your personality. And now let's reverse the scenario again. Let's assume that you are a very healthful kind of a person. You have a special focus on what you eat, and you make sure that you eat whole and natural foods. You consume foods which are seasonal. You consume foods which are high on pranic activity or high on do have that living vibration in them. Now it's the same energy and the same nutrient quality that gets mixed into your blood. Again, that high prana or high power nutrition getting into your cells, powering and recharging your cells coming together to form that tissue which would be of really high quality. making it into a very strong organ system. And when your organ system is strong, ultimately it does have an impact on the mind, and you start to feel more soothed, calm down, and all those positive emotions that we all seek for. So from the very practical physiology perspective, this is how actually what you are, what you eat means.